Have you ever had one of those days where you look at yourself in the mirror and say, "Today's the day. I'm done with this bad habit"? Maybe it's checking your phone every 5 minutes, mindlessly snacking, procrastinating on something important, or even telling yourself that you'll get up early tomorrow, only to hit snooze 5 times. You feel strong, determined. This time will be different. But a few days go by, maybe a couple of weeks, and then, like clockwork, you're right back where you started. Stuck in the same rut, frustrated, beaten by the very habit you swore you'd quit. Does that sound familiar? Maybe it's that feeling of constantly scrolling through social media late at night, when you know you should be sleeping, and waking up the next morning filled with regret. Or those promises you've made to yourself. I'll start exercising tomorrow. I'll eat healthier. I'll stop wasting time. But somehow, tomorrow never comes. We've all been there. That frustration when it feels like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to break free. It's like you're fighting a battle you can't win, constantly falling into the same patterns, feeling powerless to change. But what if I told you, you're not powerless? What if the reason you're struggling isn't that you're weak, but that you've been going about it the wrong way? Today, we're going to explore why quitting bad habits feels so hard, and how Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, holds the key to breaking free. And the best part? It's not about superhuman willpower or shaming yourself into change. It's about shifting your mindset, reclaiming control over your thoughts, and learning how to master your habits using practical Stoic wisdom. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in an endless loop of bad habits, trust me, you're not alone. And by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with powerful tools to finally break the cycle. Section 1. Why quitting bad habits is so hard. So why does quitting a bad habit feel like you're constantly fighting against yourself? Why is it that no matter how many times you tell yourself I'm done with this, you still find yourself falling back into the same old patterns? The answer lies in how our brains work. You see, every time you engage in a habit, whether it's procrastinating, scrolling on your phone, or snacking mindlessly, you're reinforcing a neural pathway in your brain. Think of it like walking the same path over and over again in a field. Over time, that path becomes deeply worn, making it harder to take a new route. This is why breaking habits feels so impossible. It's not just your willpower, it's biology. But what if I told you that you can rewire those pathways? That by changing the way you think about your habits, you can carve out a new path, one that leads to the life you actually want? That's where Stoicism comes in. A philosophy that's over 2,000 years old. Stoicism gives us the tools to break free from these bad habits and build new, healthier ones. It's not about forcing yourself into submission. It's about mastering your thoughts and understanding that you have far more control than you think. Section 2. Enter the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now, take a moment and think about that. How often do we give power to things outside of ourselves? Our cravings, our impulses, our habits, believing that we're powerless to change them. It's like we're constantly at the mercy of our desires. You know that feeling when you're trying so hard to resist temptation, but it feels like it's pulling you in, controlling you? Marcus Aurelius reminds us that it's not the outside world or even your bad habits that control you. It's your mind. Once you understand this, you realize that the power to change has been in your hands all along. It's not about fighting against your habits, it's about changing how you respond to them. Imagine this. The next time you feel the urge to check your phone for the 100th time today, you pause. Instead of mindlessly giving in, you remind yourself, I control my mind, I choose how I respond. In that moment, you reclaim your power. You've stopped letting the habit run your life. Section 3. The battle between desire and reason. Let me tell you a story that perfectly captures the battle we all face. There's a famous tale about Socrates, who was a mentor to many Stoic philosophers. One of his students came to him, frustrated, saying, "I just can't seem to control my desires. No matter how hard I try, I give in every time." Socrates looked at him and asked, "When you desire something, who is in control, you or the desire?" The student hesitated, then admitted, the desire. Socrates replied, "Then you are a slave to your desires, but the mind once trained can free you from this slavery." Now think about this for a second. How many times have you felt like you were a slave to your own habits? How often have you told yourself, "Just one more episode," or "I'll start tomorrow," and before you know it, hours or days have passed, and you're still stuck? Socrates' message is clear. If we allow our desires to control us, we become prisoners to them. But with the right mindset, you can break free. Stoicism teaches us that you don't have to be at the mercy of your bad habits. You can train your mind to resist, to reclaim control, and to choose a better path. Section 4: The Modern Struggle with Instant Gratification. Now fast forward to today's world. We're constantly bombarded with instant gratification. From social media likes to binge-watching entire seasons of shows to ordering takeout with the click of a button. We're living in a world that's designed to make us crave the quick fix. It's no wonder so many of us struggle with bad habits. Our brains are addicted to the easy dopamine hit. You know that moment when you're trying to work on something important, but you get that notification buzz, and suddenly you're sucked into a 30-minute scroll session? Or when you promised yourself you'd hit the gym, but you find yourself reaching for the remote instead? This is the modern-day battle we're all fighting, resisting the temptation of instant gratification. But Stoicism gives us the tools to win this battle. Marcus Aurelius, for example, constantly reminded himself to reject short-term pleasures if they didn't align with his long-term goals. He knew that true fulfillment doesn't come from the quick fix. It comes from the slow, deliberate effort to build a better life. Section 5: How to reframe your bad habits using Stoic techniques. Now let's talk about a mindset shift that can change everything for you. The Stoics believe that every challenge, even your bad habits, is an opportunity for practice. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself that setbacks and difficulties are just part of life's training ground. You're not failing when you give in to a bad habit. You're being presented with an opportunity to practice self-control. Think about the last time you caught yourself procrastinating or indulging in a habit you promised to quit. Did you feel guilty? Frustrated? What if, instead of beating yourself up, you saw it as a chance to grow stronger? What if every time you face temptation, it's not a failure, it's a Stoic moment to practice your mental discipline? The next time you find yourself scrolling through Instagram instead of focusing on your goals, pause. Remind yourself, this is an opportunity to practice self-control. By reframing your habits this way, you'll start to see them not as obstacles but as chances to train your mind and strengthen your willpower. Section 6: Reflecting on personal failures. Let's be honest, failure is a painful experience. We've all faced moments where we've promised ourselves that we'd change, only to slip back into old habits. Maybe you've sworn you'd stop staying up late, but there you are again at 1 a.m. scrolling through your phone. Or maybe you've told yourself, "No more binge eating when I'm stressed," only to find yourself reaching for comfort food after a rough day at work. You feel weak, frustrated, and embarrassed. You wonder, why can't I get my act together? But here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us that failure is not the end, it's part of the process. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced countless obstacles during his reign, from wars to plagues. Yet instead of viewing these setbacks as defeats, he saw them as opportunities to grow. In his journal he wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That means every failure is an opportunity to learn something valuable. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Think about the last time you failed to stick to a goal. What did you do afterward? Did you beat yourself up and feel defeated? Or did you reflect on why it happened and how you could improve? The Stoics believed that reflection is the key to growth. Marcus Aurelius would write daily in his journal, not to dwell on his failures, but to learn from them. So the next time you slip up, don't see it as a reason to give up. Instead, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what triggered this habit? What was I feeling in that moment? How can I handle it better next time? This simple act of reflection turns failure into fuel for improvement. You're not falling back. You're learning how to move forward with more strength and clarity. Section 7: Building mental strength through Stoic affirmations. We all talk to ourselves, whether we realize it or not. That little voice in your head, it's constantly shaping how you see the world and, more importantly, how you see yourself. Now, what if that inner voice could become your greatest ally instead of your biggest critic? The Stoics were masters at using affirmations to reinforce their mindset. They understood that your thoughts become your reality, and if you can train your mind to speak positively and with purpose, you can literally reshape your life. Imagine waking up every morning and instead of thinking, "I'm never going to break this habit," you tell yourself, "I am stronger than my habits. I control my actions." Marcus Aurelius used affirmations as a mental shield against the distractions and temptations of daily life. Every morning, he reminded himself of who he wanted to be: disciplined, resilient, in control. And that's exactly what you can do. Try this. Start your day with a simple Stoic affirmation. Look yourself in the mirror and say, "I am the master of my mind. I have the strength to control my actions." Say it every morning until it becomes part of your mental script. At first, it might feel awkward or forced, but over time, you'll notice that it starts to shift how you see yourself. You'll begin to believe that you are stronger than your bad habits. You'll start acting with more intention, more control. Building mental strength isn't something that happens overnight. It's a daily practice, just like going to the gym. And just like your muscles, your mind gets stronger with every repetition. Affirmations are like reps for your brain. They condition your mind to stay focused, disciplined, and in control. So don't just think of affirmations as empty words. Think of them as powerful tools for building the mental strength you need to break free from bad habits. Section 8. The role of accountability. Stoic wisdom meets modern science. Have you ever tried to quit a habit on your own, only to find yourself slipping back into it because no one was watching? It's easy to make promises to yourself, but it's just as easy to break them when no one else is holding you accountable. This is where accountability comes in, and even the Stoics understood its power. Stoic philosophers, despite their focus on personal discipline, didn't operate in isolation. Marcus Aurelius had close advisors and friends who would challenge him, question his decisions, and hold him accountable to his Stoic principles. Similarly, Seneca mentored many, always reminding them that personal growth isn't a solo journey. Today, we understand through modern science that having someone to hold you accountable significantly increases your chances of success. Why? Because when you share your goals with someone else, you're making a commitment not just to yourself, but to them as well. There's a sense of responsibility. You're not just letting yourself down if you slip, you're letting them down too. And that adds a whole new layer of motivation. Think about it. If you've ever tried to go on a diet or start a workout plan, wasn't it easier when you had a friend doing it with you? It's the same with breaking bad habits. Find someone you trust, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even an online community, and share your journey with them. Let them know what you're working on and ask them to check in with you regularly. You'll find that this simple act of accountability can make a huge difference. Stoicism teaches us self-reliance, but it also teaches us the value of community. You don't have to fight your bad habits alone. Lean on others for support and let them lean on you in return. Together, you'll find it much easier to stay on track. Section 9. Focusing on what you can control. The key to breaking free. One of the most liberating insights from Stoicism is this: you can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. This simple principle is the key to breaking free from bad habits. Here's the truth. You're never going to have a life where everything goes exactly as planned. You'll have days where you're stressed, tired, overwhelmed. Days when your bad habits feel like the only escape. But what Stoicism teaches us is that even in those moments, we have control over one thing: how we choose to respond. Let's break this down. You can't control the fact that your job is stressful, but you can control whether you turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms like binge eating or procrastination. You can't control if someone cuts you off in traffic, but you can control whether you let it ruin your day. Stoicism reminds us that it's not the external events that determine our happiness or success. It's how we choose to react to them. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the mindset that can free you from the grip of bad habits. Every time you catch yourself slipping into a habit, pause and ask yourself, is this something I can control? How do I want to respond? By shifting your focus from the things outside of your control to what's within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, you'll find that you have far more strength than you ever realized. You'll no longer feel like a victim of your habits. Instead, you'll feel empowered to make better choices, one decision at a time. Section 10. Small wins lead to big progress. Here's the final lesson. Breaking bad habits isn't about making one huge change overnight. It's about small, consistent wins that build momentum over time. This is where Stoicism truly shines. It's a philosophy of daily practice, of taking small steps toward greatness every single day. Let's face it, we live in a culture that's obsessed with instant results. We want to quit smoking today and be done with it tomorrow. We want to stop procrastinating and immediately become super productive. But Stoicism teaches us that real, lasting change comes from small, deliberate actions. It's about playing the long game. Let's say your goal is to quit scrolling through social media during work hours. Instead of going cold turkey and expecting to never check your phone again, start small. Set a timer for 30 minutes where you stay off your phone, then slowly increase the time each day. Each time you succeed, that's a win. And these small wins add up. They build confidence, momentum, and resilience. The Stoics didn't expect perfection from themselves, and neither should you. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up one day as a perfectly stoic emperor. It was the result of daily practice, daily reflection, and daily small victories. And that's exactly how you're going to break your bad habits. Not with one giant leap, but with 1,000 small steps. So, every time you resist a craving, every time you make a better choice, celebrate that win. It's a victory in the long game of self-mastery. Over time, these small wins compound, and before you know it, you've built a new, healthier version of yourself. The journey of Stoic mastery. In life, breaking bad habits isn't about being perfect, it's about practicing. The Stoics didn't achieve their greatness overnight. It was through small steps, daily reflection, and a relentless focus on what they could control. Today, I challenge you to take just one of these Stoic techniques and start applying it. Whether it's journaling your habits, using affirmations, or finding someone to hold you accountable, pick something and start. Remember, it's not about the size of the step, it's about the direction you're heading. And with Stoicism as your guide, you're heading toward a life of control, freedom, and peace. So if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, share it with someone who might need to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Affinity for more insights into mastering your life with Stoic wisdom. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I'll see you in the next video.